Should I go? Okay. I'm wondering if tonight's or tomorrow night, Wednesday night's game, coming off, just
We played 3 nights in a row.
because of the result Saturday, the teams you have remaining on your schedule, does it mean a little bit more? Or is it?
Well, it's the results by Saturday, so if we'd have lost by 3, would it mean less? So yeah, I think every game this late in the season means more and more as you go, without question. So I think that's the way it is with everything. When we can see the finish line, things that happen closer to the finish line are more important, because just like a game, you can make a mistake in the first 5 or 10 minutes and there's time to recover. You get under the 5-minute mark and whatever, there may not be time to recover. It's the same thing in seasons and scheduling too. So yeah, I do think they all take an added importance once you get into late February.
The circumstances were a little different, but last time you guys lost on the road, the players kind of rallied around that. Obviously went on the 8-game winning streak. What was the reaction of the team coming back, and what has the feeling been around the building? I know you guys probably haven't been together much since then, but...
No, we haven't been together yet. So yesterday was our day off, so we practiced here in a little bit. So I think the guys will respond to it fine. I think the comparison's really not an apples to apples comparison. You know, losing at Ames, what were they ranked this week? 6. Okay, so you know, it'd be a hard game regardless. But we did lose, and we did play well, and they were certainly more physical and took the game to us. But if anything, you know, people saying wake up call and all that stuff. You don't have wake up calls after every loss. I mean, that's not real. But can we learn from it, and can we be better next time out? That's what I'm focused on.
Is Anthony Roy one of the league's top players?
Yeah, I think he's one of the league's top players, and he's certainly one of the league's top shooters and scorers. You know, you look at Momcilovic, and we've seen him start the second half, and what he do, make 4 in a row to start the second half, and a couple of them were really, really hard. Roy has that same type range and that same type touch. I don't know exactly, what's he shooting, 45 from 3?
I think so.
And he's taking 9 a game. What's that? 42. So he's basically averaging going 4 for 9 every game. So you know, that's something that we're going to certainly have to contend with.
The way the portal works, I was just wondering, did you guys know about Roy being at Green Bay, tearing it up? How does that work? Do you start to look into that when a guy's having an amazing year?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he did finish the year last year. Did he? I'm not sure how many games. He played 11, so he didn't finish the year last year. But I knew of him, but I didn't know much of him. But Doug had told me that he was really a talented kid.
They lost, Oklahoma State's lost 3 in a row. So obviously, I mean, when you guys come to town, they're always ready. What stands out about them, and have you seen anything that could pose some problems, maybe?
Speed. You know, they're 2 guards, 0-1, Claire and Curry. They're good and they're fast, and their other players are quick and athletic. But I'd say the biggest thing that stands out is their speed and their ability to make plays when nothing's there. They're really good at getting downhill.
I'm curious with Darren. I think he has 3 assists in the last 5 games. Passing the ball, is there something teams are doing to force him out of those situations, or is that an area you feel like he can kind of take another step down?
I think he can take another step, but I do think, you know, when you trap him and do some different things, you take away the immediate opportunity for an assist off a ball screen that's drugged to 40 feet. So you're not going to get assist at 40 feet. Even if you get out of it, you're going to throw the ball to somebody, and then it's going to be his opportunity to be the assist guy. But what do you call that in hockey? A hockey assist, where it's a pass that leads to the pass. I think that we can become much more efficient doing that.
I guess as you head into the final third of the Big 12 schedule, what do you think of the team's sense of urgency right now as they understand that every game's going to be really important at this point in the year?
Well, as to the question earlier, or to Shay's question, everything's magnified this time of year. There's no doubt about that. You know, guys are human, but the mature teams are the ones that are able to take every game and make it the biggest game the very next game. And that's what we have to do, just like other people have to do it too. Oklahoma State's got to do it. They're playing for an NCAA tournament berth. I mean, other people are playing for stuff, and there's still time to get stuff done. So we have to recognize that, respect that, and know we have to be at a different level ourselves.
And then you touched on it a little bit after the game, but what did the film show on the traps and the stringing out of ball screens, and why that was such a problem for you guys earlier?
Yeah, we did a terrible job. Whenever two people guard the ball, you should be able to play behind it, and we did a terrible job of playing behind it. And we let them drag it out rather than attack one bounce and play behind it from the middle of the court. We didn't do a good job. We kept the ball in our hands too long and allowed the post their weak side defenders to take away the nearest outlet. And when you take away the nearest outlet and you leave the furthest outlet open, you got two guys that are pressing you hard. You can't make that pass, where the pass is a lot harder. So yeah, we got to be better at that.
Bill, there was a time, I think preseason, where Melvin sat in here and told us he was going to be the leader of this team. Obviously on the court and personality, you've talked about it a ton, that he is that. Is there one guy that it's their voice that carries the most weight with this group though? Is it his, or is it someone else's, or do you have that?
With our best teams, I always thought we did it by committee. I didn't know that we ever did it by, you could go back to 08. A lot of people said Russell was a leader. He's one of the most quiet guys on our team. And you go back to 22. Who was our leader in 22? They all were. You could make a case that David McCormick probably was as much as anybody. So this one, I don't think anybody's really emerged to the point where that's natural. But I think Melvin is the closest thing to it.
And no need to find it, like you.
Oh no. Yeah, we'd love to find it.
Sure. Okay.
You'd love for it to be Darren. But Darren hadn't been in a position where he's been out there enough yet that he feels comfortable in doing anything like that. So up until then, we'll just we'll do it by committee, which a lot of teams do.
Did Trey's root canal throw him off during the game?
If it did, we're not gonna make an excuse that it did. He was out there, and he wasn't as effective as he had been, but I'm not sure that's the reason why. Maybe it's because they guarded as well, and stuff. But he can certainly be more effective and do more than what he did the other day, and he will. Last
week, you only had one game, but it was, for you, was it an emotional week with Scooter and everything? You did a long, great speech and all that. Was it a taxing week for you?
For me personally?
Yeah.
I think all the weeks right now are pretty taxing, but obviously that was and some of you guys were there. That was a very, very, very nice first-class thing that he deserved and family deserved, and athletic department did a fabulous job in helping make that happen. That was special, and did that take priority over my job? Only for that day. But that day, that was a priority. But that's not an excuse either. Scooter would be disappointed if we used that as an excuse. So.
What do you think of Jerome Tang being let go and the timing and all that?
It really surprised me with the timing and everything. I think sometimes I've actually thought about this a lot, and I have a hard time coming up with a conclusion, because we don't really know everything that's going on, and we try to make determinations from the cheap seats based on what other people say or other people write. And I'll be honest, I like Jerome. I hate to see when any coaches gets let go, but I also know that it's big money and it's big business, and people make decisions based on what is in the best interest of their employer, and the employer is Kansas State University. So without saying too much, because I shouldn't have an opinion, because I don't know enough to have an opinion. That's why you have agents. That's why you have attorneys that look over contracts, and that's why you have attorneys from institutions that look over contracts, and you deal with the wording in the contracts. Bottom line, if KU wanted to get rid of me today, that's their decision, and that would be their decision, but all things would refer to the terms of the contract. And if I wanted to get rid of KU, which I don't, all things would refer to the terms of the contract. And I'm sure that's exactly what they're hashing out now, is how that contract is written. And from an outside looking in, I certainly hope fairness prevails.
6 games left. Do you like where your team is at? And is there one area where you guys can really take the next step, maybe to move forward?
I actually think do I like where we're at? I like more where we're at 4 days ago than I did 2 days ago. But we can become tougher. We can become better defensively consistently. We can understand more about what it's like to win away from home. We can definitely be much more fluid offensively. You know, the other day to the question that was asked about them stringing us out and all that stuff, and they did that, and we were awful handling pressure. How many turnovers we have for the game? Huh? What was it? 12, 10 in the first half.
Correct.
If you'd have told me going in the game we're going to have 12 turnovers in Ames, I would have said probably, okay, all right. And the battle of the boards was going to be even. Okay, you know, that's it wasn't okay, but sometimes, you know, it just and they did a great job of making some hard threes too, that were, I know that Bateman and Momsilovich both make them at the very end of the clock, that were bombs, and but that's what happens when you play well, you know, and you have momentum. So we didn't do enough to take that away, but I think we can get better in all facets. I don't think that we're where we need to be in any area yet.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.